Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ernie C, the Gap Tooth Genius, and this is going to be episode 76. Good Lord, these episodes are flying by. And I have journalist Carissa Diaz live from Los Angeles. What's up, Carissa? How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Just, always grinding, trying to knock these pods out. Little behind, but that means more content for the people. So we're trying to knock them out.
You're making it happen though.
Trying to. I was trying to. I think I put my foot in my mouth a little bit with the whole Wednesday thing. I'm like, oh, what happens with people when stuff comes up?
Yeah.
Stuff does come up sometimes, and podcasting, just a little thing what we do. So, just want to get you on, my friend. We've been friends for a while now, and really love what you're doing. I see what I see this movement you got going on with your passion. I know writing something you love to do. So I figured, hey, why not? And a woman music journalist writer, why not? I think from the days of the Source and Vibe, it's always been these male figures writing these articles, and now to have you kind of take your baton and run with it, I think that's something we really should showcase.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm just happy to be on here too to talk with you. I know we like said that we would like get this going, a while back, and we have been friends for the longest. So, I'm just excited to, sit down and like talk to you and have this going.
And we both got things we grinding right now.
Hmm.
Like, it's cool to have, like, we've always talked about, but I'm glad it happened at this time. It's all about timing. So I think right now with what you have going on, I see with the Bakersfield Life magazine that you're not just a music journalist. You're writing about what's going on in our community now. So that it's levels to this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to tap into like other sections and like writing and stuff like that. And especially like with Bakersfield, like, I really hold that close to my heart. And like, especially like, highlighting what's going on in the community and things like that. Um, I really, yeah, just like to highlight those stories and hopefully it like crosses, other people who are inspired by it as well.
And just a black owned business in the Valley Plaza. I don't know if that's like, I don't know how often that's done, but to see it showcased like that and just you highlighting that, that's awesome. That's great on the resume for sure, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually with that story, it's funny because I like got the story idea from you because you had retweeted, I think it was a DJ Ashby, I
Definitely.
believe is her name. Yeah. And you retweeted something that she was gonna be out there and she was gonna like be DJing at the first black owned business store in the Valley Plaza. So I was like, dang, like that's a really good, story. And like I have to highlight that. Like we don't have that. That's not like, it's very rare, especially in Bakersfield. Like with everything being so like I guess separated there, like, from the east side to like, the more like the southwest and all that.
Mhm.
So I felt like, for sure I had to like reach out to the editor at Bakersfield Life and just be like, hey, like, like there's this amazing story. Like, I would love to, write about it. And so thankfully, like, it everything went well. And, she said, yeah, like for sure. And everything went great. And I just reached out to the owner of the Tyler E.
Mhm.
And she's like this sweet woman, and she just like was open to speaking with me, and the conversation just felt so like comfortable,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it was like
uh,
yeah, full
and
like
I
women empowerment. Hmm.
it was great. I loved it. I think your first article at BC, I still got like I know this something you always wanted to do, so I've been rooting for you for sure. Uh,
Thank you.
can you share what's kind of what your motive, I guess your inspirations and how you got started in journalism?
Yeah, for sure. So I've always been like a real like I guess music head, whether it be just like, music in general.
Mhm.
And like back then you would always see me like with my earphones in, like my iPod and stuff like that. And I would always watch like the Warp Tours. I don't know if you're familiar with like those on like Fuse and stuff like that. And so I think I kind of was just like, dang, like I didn't know that you could have a career like, just interviewing people in music and stuff like that. And so I was like, that's something that I want to see, like, and try to get into, but I didn't know what it was called. And so it wasn't until like high school when like I was like an avid, I think, and they're like, yeah, like you need to figure out kind of like what you want to do, what kind of career you want. And then so I was like, like I don't know what this is called, but I'm gonna like figure out what it is. And it ended up being journalism.
Mhm.
And so ever since then, like I was always like, like I want to get into that and I have to figure out how to go about that.
Mhm,
And so yeah, I think just, um being able to like even watch like YouTube interviews and all that. Like I used to be so into that. And
mhm,
I just loved how like the artist or like whoever they're interviewing just like talked about, whatever they had going on. And
definitely.
I loved like the connection that it gave between like the fans and the artists. Like you got to know like the person really well through these interviews. And that's what I love so much. And so that's why I was like, yeah, like journalism, like that's what it is, like that's what I want to do. And I've like stuck by that, for forever. I don't think it's changed or like anything like that.
You still
So
have that love for it.
yeah, it's a deep passion that I have.
Definitely. What wrote off topic a little bit? Does Angie Martinez inspire what you got going on a little bit?
She does actually.
I love
Yeah.
her interview. It was so different, and I don't know, and not just because she's a woman, just because of what she brought of the artist. It was like they were at home at Angie's house with this big ass studio, but Angie would always kind of get deeper than just music.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she is definitely a forefather, but that was just that's what I was thinking at that time.
No,
So
yeah. And oh, sorry to cut you off, but I actually read her book. She has like a memoir, and I actually read it, and oh my God, I was like, this woman is like everything. She's great. She's talked to so many like, dope artists, and she grew up like around that. So it's just like she has so much experience in that. And like I eventually do want to tap into like the radio type of like career, which would be dope, but it's a lot.
the games are, there's so many, they're limitless. There's what you could do with just interviewing people, writing about stories. When did you start writing for a newspaper? Was that at BC? Was that in high school? How did, just for our journalists, I guess people who want to be into journalists, aspire to do that. How did you get your step into what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I wish I started in high school. Like I know we had a high school paper, but
Mhm,
I did it, I was having fun in high school. I wasn't thinking about a career.
mhm,
But yeah, I think my first like time I actually was published was for BC's newspaper. It was
mhm,
when I like took a course and all that.
mhm,
And yeah, we had to like, we had to do stories and we had to come up with our own stories.
mhm.
And so yeah, that was the first time I ever got published. And I just love, seeing my name like printed and just like it's
Yeah,
just everything. Like, oh my God.
I remember I was because in class they would pass out this paper every morning, and that's why I think I sent you a picture like, "Yo, is this you?"
Oh shit.
It was
Yeah.
so long ago, yo. It was so damn long ago. I was like, "Yo, this is you. I'm gonna send this. This is cool."
Oh my God. Yeah, that's funny.
Do you remember your first story?
My first story, I know I had posted it like a while. I think it was your question I answered on like my Instagram. I think it was about some program happening at BC. I
Mm,
know that. And I know it's like and looking back, I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that?
yeah.
But it's only because like my writing, like I went too into detail when I didn't need to do that much detail in it. And
Mhm.
I remember like the professor saying, like, hey, like you did really well, but like, next time you don't have to include these types of details in it. And it was like so funny. But I mean now I know.
Yeah, definitely. What made you want to just how do I say this? What drives you to get better? Who do you inspire to make? I guess who's your inspirations when you're writing? Who do you study? Like I know when we're DJing, we study certain DJs or certain patterns. Like how is that with journalism? Who do you study? Who do you look up to?
Yeah, so a lot of the times it's really just like I enjoy like reading the complex magazines, the source magazines and stuff like that. There's this journalist, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like it's YOH.
Mhm,
And he's this great journalist and he writes like detailed like stories and
mhm,
like you feel like you're actually like in there with him and like the way he's explaining stuff like and how he felt like during certain times of listening to like new music or
mhm,
like he talks about like listening to like Kendrick's album for the first time or like Nas's album for the first time and it's just like it like brings me back and I'm just like dang like this is somebody like I'm like really inspired by and like I really hope that I'm able to like get that detailed into my work and kind of bring to life the story for somebody reading it.
definitely. One
Mhm.
thing artists, I remember reading the source at Double XL. You read these album reviews. It's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this album because the review was great. The journalist made me feel like, oh, I can't miss this shit. I need to listen. I need to listen one time. I
Yeah.
think what I see with your articles too, you do put that passion, you put that detail in it. Was that something that came easy to you, or was that something that you had to work on, just reps, practice makes perfect?
Yeah, so no, it did not come easy to me.
Mhm.
I think when I first started writing, I was it was like there's a difference between like essay story writing and kind of like um journalistic writing. They're kind of the same, but they're also very different. And I think I was more used to like kind of like having a beginning, middle, and end, which you do have that in journalism, but it's a different type of form. Like you have to kind of put in all the like the main information at the top. And I think that for me, I had a hard time doing that in the beginning, and I didn't really know how to. And then it came also with like the details in it, like kind of explaining like kind of like setting the tone for it and like setting like how it was like how your experience was in the moment, or
Mhm.
like let's say I'm writing about like me reviewing a restaurant, like
Mhm.
basically explaining like exactly what I did when I went through it and all that stuff. So I think that that one was hard because you really have to like tap into kind of like every senses in a way.
Definitely, yes. Yes,
Yeah, and so I think that's what yeah, but it wasn't easy. It did come with, like, time, and I look back now at my writing, and I'm like, "Dang, like, I coulda made it a little better," but that's, like, also, like, beautiful to me because 'cause I'm able to, like, see, you know,
yo,
the past and how much I've grown. Yeah.
how often do you look at your past work? Is that something journalists do? Like, it's kind of like, oh, this is where I started from, and now look at where I'm at now.
Not very often, if I'm being honest. No, I haven't. I think I did like reminisce that time when I was like when I was trying to figure out what was my first thing that I published.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, but there are sometimes when I do look back, like on True Urban Culture, I'll go and look back at like at my first article
Mhm.
and stuff. But yeah, not very often.
And people, and we'll shout them out. So I wrote down, you do write for creating the escape in true urban culture, right? How did that relationship start? Because that's how those are the stories I loved all the stories, but those are the ones I'm really tapping into. I'm always reposting them because out of love, I love what you're doing. It's something I knew how much you wanted to do this, so it's happening now.
Yeah, thank you for that. I
Sure.
know, and you're always supporting and showing love. Like I always
Got
appreciate
to,
that.
got to, got to.
Yeah, but for True Urban Culture, I had just graduated from Dominguez Hills.
Mhm.
And so I was like a new graduate with a bachelor's and everything. And I was like, man, like, I really like I just want to like write. I just want like an internship and to write for somebody and just to kind of make my way in there already.
Mhm.
And so I would like stay up and just like, look to see who had like internships and all that. And somehow I came across True Urban Culture and I applied for it. And like the next day they like hit me up and they're like, hey, like when can you get an interview? Whatever, we did the interview, and right away they're like, okay, cool. And so yeah, and I've been there for it's a year now and a year and some months. And I love it. Like, the relationships that I've built with the editor and the team and the interns there. It's been great. And they're so free. Like they let me like write about whatever I want to write about. Like I pitch the stories to my editor
Mhm.
and I'll be like, yeah, like, like write these ones and all that. And they're really like they're what I want to write about. It's not something that I'm just kind of like, oh, like I have to do it and all this
VP
stuff.
program. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, shit to do with you.
Uh,
That's awesome though. I think that's when you get to do work and it's what you love to do, it's like it's not really work, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Is that something that keeps you challenged? I guess kind of keeps you on your toes, wanting to get better.
It does, yeah, it absolutely does. I think that, especially being like in journalism, it's so competitive. So you have to keep improving. And so I want to keep improving and keep, building my skills and all that. So yeah, it does definitely keep me on my toes.
Being a female hip hop journalist writer, is that still something that's rare in the like? I haven't read a magazine forever. It's been forever since I picked up a double X source. But is that something that's rare nowadays? Is that something that's since 2021 we're becoming more accepting of everybody who wants to talk about our hip hop culture?
Yeah, I somewhat think it is rare. I do know like of another music journalist through my roommate actually.
Mhm.
She works at the LA Times and all that.
Beautiful.
And she does this, really great like job doing like the music wise stuff and all that. But I really do feel like it is rare. I don't think that like a lot of people or a lot of like females are recognized like
Right.
especially when it comes to like hip hop because it's so like it's a male, it's a male dominated.
Definitely.
And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people don't expect women to know much about hip hop or like the genre itself.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, for women to have like that space or to try to get into that, I think it's great. And when they do, I feel like people are like so amazed by it, Like, I mean,
I
mm,
think people sleep, and I know we talked about this before too. Vanessa Satin, when
yeah,
she got that editor in chief of Double XL, I think that opened so many doors. I think she was the first woman on a major publishing for hip hop to be the editor in chief, and we talked about that. Like that's what you're capable of doing. That's going to be you one day. Like people don't understand how many doors and how many just people like you is like, oh fuck, I could do this now. Look what she's at. Double XL at that time too. It wasn't like it is now. And I'm not saying talking shit about Double XL. It's great, but at that time it was at its peak. Like, and she's running this thing, and she has some great stories, some great covers. Is that she's still an inspiration to what you're doing?
yeah, definitely. She ran that magazine, like, and every time you would get a magazine, it was her note in there first, like,
Signature.
yeah, and her signature,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
And, like, yeah, that is a big motivation to me. I feel like I, eventually would wanna have a spot like that and, to be recognized and respected, like, to that level, like, that's everything, especially being a woman, And, yeah, like, yeah, like, I get excited even, like, thinking about that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that. I think when we went to, I think it was the game concert, but we were just talking about Vanessa the whole, on the way over there. Like this is big. Like I didn't really know if you knew who that was at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, you're in tune with what's going on with the culture. Of course you are.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Being in tune with the culture, how important is it to still kind of listen to everything that's going on? I know as a DJ, that's just kind of part of the job description. As a journalist, what's the preparation for you to write about these artists? You're not just writing about mainstream artists either. You have artists from the regional artists and whatnot. How important is it to stay like in touch with what's going on now in the game?
I would say it's very important just to like know what's going on and the knowledge around it. There are like I feel like hip hop is evolving, like and it's every day I feel like we get like this new artist or something that's like blowing up. Music is crazy right now because you can blow up overnight through a freaking TikTok, like
Yeah,
or
crazy.
anything. Yeah, anything on the internet is just it's crazy. So you have to stay on top of that. I would say for me it is I don't know if it's just because 'cause I'm like an old soul or something like that, but it is hard for me to, like, try to listen to, like, all the new rappers. I don't know, and I don't mean to throw shade to some of them, like,
It's
I
so again the game. It's a little. It's saturated for sure.
mhm.
And it's a one and done thing. I think it's just like, oh, that was a cool little, I forgot the guy. Is it CJ or I forgot this new song? It's horrible. My barber was playing. I'm like, bro, this ain't the one. Like,
I don't
this here, like this is good. Like, or do Whoppy or something like that. I'm like, no, bro, I'm not bumping any of this stuff. This is not interesting to me. Like I know you love the Coles and Kendricks, and we love these deep artists. What's been your favorite article? I guess your favorite or your work so far at your spot now. What's been the most challenging?
like, my favorite article out of the one that I've written before, or
Yeah, definitely. For right now for let's do the urban culture for true urban culture. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. I would definitely say my favorite article is the one where I covered a weekend with Compton's rapper Asia. I think that was like I was I enjoyed that weekend, and thankfully, shout out to my coworker slash my friend.
Mhm,
He knows her and he does like her photography and stuff like that. So
mhm,
he was able to, get me in like to speak with her and all that. And, of course, driven culture because I had reached out um, to the reps of, with the event that she was holding it at. And, through that, I was able to go.
mhm,
But yeah, like, everything else, like, it was great because I was able to get that experience with the artist,
mhm,
able to talk to her about, releasing her album. And it was like a collaboration between her and, Black Arrow, which is like a soccer type of company, and they kind of like are merging like the Black and Mexi or like Black and soccer community,
Hmm.
and which I thought was amazing, and I wanted to highlight that. And yeah, but I feel like that one was just my favorite one because I was able to be in the studio with her, be able to be on set with her while she was shooting her music video, and like she was just a humble like person, and I enjoyed that. I really did, and it
That's
was great.
that's like an awesome firsthand experience. I think that helps you so much in the future, right? That kind of just that's experience. That's just adding experience to what you got going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It was like a memorable experience too.
Definitely. And is that kind of like again, I don't know much about journalism, but is that kind of like you have this conversation with the artist, right? And then you kind of tell what you're seeing and like what they're just saying them in the studio, them doing photo shoot. You kind of see what their emotions are, and you kind of can make the reader feel that, or just kind of what their daily routine is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for that one, I kind of just was in the studio with her and I kind of just took in the energy and what she was doing and like how she did it and how she communicated with others. And yeah, I try to bring that to life through the story. I kind of just express how we left the event and we went to the studio.
Hmm.
And then I basically just expressed how she was wrapping up her album. And so she was like back and forth, in the studio, like I don't know what it's called. What is it called? In the actual like booth. There you go. In the booth, like going like writing the rhymes and asking like, hey, like how does it sound? Like and be honest with me, like asking like everyone around her. So
Hmm.
you can tell like she really trusts the people who she brings around. And so I kind of highlighted that in the article. And yeah, I think she had posted that too as like one of the pictures that she posted on her actual page from the article.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
good for you, see for sure.
Yeah,
Do you,
thank you.
did you ever get nervous releasing to your work to the public? Like just seeing people, even like this, like I still get nervous putting pods out. I still get nervous doing gigs. Like, do you still get nervous having people read what you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the beginning it was more like I didn't want anybody reading my stuff and I was just like, no, like, but it's gotten a lot easier now. I do get scared though. I do like get like nervous, like, oh, like what are they gonna think? And I hope I didn't like say something wrong that like offends anybody or like I think that's the main thing I worry about.
Mhm.
And just making sure that the message is clear and it gets across and that it's not confusing for anybody.
Definitely. I
Mhm.
think that's something that we all need as creators. I think we have to overcome that because if we want the world to see our work, how else are we supposed to do this without releasing it? Like we can't. I had a friend there. They just rapping like, bro, we can't hear you if you're not putting it out there. Like how are we supposed to how's the world supposed to know what you feel like? And I think that's what the journalism too. And you're not releasing just one article a month. This is something you do weekly, almost twice a week. Like
Mhm.
how do you stay sharp? How do you prep? Is the preparation different for every article?
Um, I think I think it's kind of the same. I think I kind of have like the same little process. For like my weekly articles, I kind of am already like used to it. So
Hmm.
I kind of just, like when that day comes, so we have like different days that we do it. And that day comes, I just write. But like the process to like actually interview like big artists is a little longer. So like I'll spend like a day or two trying to like research them and trying to make sure I have like the right questions to ask and not something that's like obvious and that may have already been in another article that I can, find myself.
Definitely.
um, and then kind of just like if it's like a community one, like for like the Bakersfield Life, I make sure that I do my research like far back to make sure that, maybe no one's like touched base on that or like making sure I have like, I guess either like if I have like statistics in there or if I have like, big research, I guess that I need.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just varies too. But yeah, the process is kind of, it's okay.
Sorry. Can you see that? Good God,
No.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We got a quick FaceTime call. Can't do that right now. But I wanted to ask too, since you're coming on the pod, and this is organic as hell. Like I even told you, we're not gonna do like, hey, what's your favorite color today? Shit like that.
Yeah.
For questioning, how do you stay sharp with that? How do you stay like, okay, you don't want to keep repeating the same question? That's kind of like what, even with pods, I think that we have a relationship, so we're it's gonna be fine, But with people I don't know for the first time coming on, like, fuck, what do I ask them? Like, what's your tips for that?
Yeah, so for that one, I kind of just try to think like outside the box maybe and kind of just focus on, I don't know, just I don't know. I really try to focus on like in the beginning, maybe just getting them comfortable, talking about like their background and stuff, like the usual stuff.
Mm.
But when it comes to like their actual like work, I try to make sure that I'm like really in tune with what they did, so I make sure I have like I listen to their stuff or I make sure that I, like know what's going on with them. I think that's key to it, just really knowing, what they have going on.
Being
And
a sure.
yeah.
I
And I
think
think that's mainly it.
yeah, I think we as long as we do our due diligence, that's kind of what I do. I'm like, if I do my due diligence, just kind of care about the person that's coming down, like that's and everything else is gonna go smooth. But I know podcasting is kind of different from writing an article on them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you guys could get off topic or something and start talking about something else.
I think we definitely could do that. Like right now, what are you listening to right now?
Oh my goodness, what am I listening to? So I'm a little like I'm kind of everywhere. I would say that I am everywhere, but I'm not. So I have like my own playlist that I just like, add on. It's like add on different albums and stuff. So I have like 3,000 songs on one playlist. So whatever comes up, comes up. But I would say I'm still listening to Big Sean's recent album. So Detroit 2.
Yeah,
I
what's the
love
one,
that
the
one.
Angel of the Demon song? I don't know which one that was, but that's my joint.
Yeah, something harder than my demons or something like that. I think it's something like that.
I was
Yeah,
listening to that.
I love that one. Um, what else am I listening to? Coda the Friend, I was listening to that. I've been listening to that too. He's more like I get he's an independent artist, so
Mm-hmm.
he kind of like
He has a dope little song. I forgot what it was called. Damn it. It's a catchy little tune. I just can't remember it.
it's
It's
probably like
so
is
hard
it
to keep up, though. Like you said, it's so hard to keep up with what's
right?
going on.
It is.
What do you
Yeah,
think about the? What did you think about the Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars song that just came out?
that was pretty dope. That was very different.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
beautiful. Like that, those two together, and you've been on Anderson .Paak for a while. Just seeing him venture out of what he always was, kind of that Oxnard sound. Like I'm
Yeah.
all for it. I think he's the next one to. It's been a while, but he could do some things. Like he's gonna make major. He still has major hits to come for sure.
Yeah, of course. I just love how he's just like his voice is just so beautiful. Like it's just so like it makes every track just like pleasing to listen to.
He
I
stands
love.
out, right? I think
Yeah.
that's what artists need to do. Like, you have to stand out. Now, if you guys are watching this, I don't know how you feel, but how do you feel like with the auto tune? Like, I know Wayne kind of everybody wants to sound like Wayne, and it's like now everybody wants to sound like Roddy, and that's cool. But how do you feel about this new trend of straight auto tune rap? And it's kind of singing, but they're still flowing on there.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I think that if you know how to do it, if you know how to work with it, you know how to like, tap in and tap like know when to tap in and tap out. It's
Mhm,
kind of just like don't overdo it too. Like,
mhm.
we don't want to hear like the same songs as well, like, compared to everyone else. Like you said, it's good to stand out, because that's what makes you unique and that's what's gonna make you pop
Yeah.
compared to the other ones or something like that.
And that's how we're gonna remember you. Like I think once we remember, it's like, oh yeah, he did that really well. I
Mhm.
think with all these songs now, it's the same hi hat, the triple hi hats, and it's the melodies. It's like I love, and we love hip hop, but I just don't like to see it stale. I feel like it's a little stale right now. Is that something? What do you think about that?
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I feel like it's kind of just people are just putting music out and they're not really like, giving it their all. They're not really putting their heart in it, I guess you can say. And it some of the stuff does sound the same. And like I said, like with the new artists, I think I have a hard time just adapting to it maybe. And I think it does give me, I have to sit with it for a while to even like, get used to it or to even like enjoy listening to it, I guess. And yeah, I think as a journalist, people expect you to be like on it and like, like love it or something, but it's just like, no, like it does take me some time to like enjoy like new artists.
Definitely. I think the good with the amount of material that's coming out is like how could I soak all this in if we gotta listen to the next project that drops in a week?
Exactly.
And we've been through our overly dedicated stage, the first Cole album, Drake's first album. This shit sat with us for 4 or 5 months, and it's like we still love it. It's like the first time listening to it, and now I think our attention span has changed, not just as a listener, but I think as a world. Like we're so used to convenience, and now I think that's kind of something that the game's suffering from that. And I don't think there's any way. It's just irreversible damage, and it's crazy. I think that's, as a DJ, it's hard for me. I just can't keep up with everything that's out. I'm like, how am I supposed to? I'm still loving last week's shit that came out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could imagine, and you have to like as a DJ, you have to be on top of it, because whatever the crowd is like feeling or like whatever like the new music that's into it, then like the new kids that are like having a party, they want to listen to that. So I
Definitely.
could imagine that being so difficult. But you mentioned something, you made a good point. How you said like people want it like, they want
Mhm,
albums dropped like every week.
mhm.
And I don't know, I feel like those albums are never like they don't like you can't put your all into something that you just, are like,
Going through,
spitting out like, yeah.
yeah, going through the motions.
Yeah, and I feel like timeless music is like more important. And if you can sit and listen to a song, I mean like an album from like 5 years ago still, like that's everything.
Would you consider doing articles like that? Just say, Good Kid, Mad City. Say it's 10 years next year. Would you like? I could see you writing an article about, hey, this is how I first felt listening to this, and now this is how I feel listening to it. Now, as 10 years older, I'm a grown woman. I was a young woman back then, but now
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman. That would be cool too. See, I could see you definitely do. I think people would enjoy that too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I've thought about it before, but like now I like how you mentioned how like from 10 years I was like, younger, you don't really like realize all this stuff. But
Mm.
like now I do catch myself pointing out things from like Kendrick's album or like, another album like damn, like I didn't even realize like this is what he meant like back then. So yeah, maybe that's something like
And the always I was thinking it's so fucking scary because I'm 30 now, right? So 10 years ago, when I was listening to I was listening to the Kendrick Lamar EP and made me feel a certain way. But now I listen to it as a man, like, so this is how it felt. I went through some of those life experiences. I'm like, oh, he was ahead of his time because I'm still, it still feels in my heart like, oh man, like Uncle Bobby or Faith or damn, Let Me Be, like that still, I still feel that way. I'm like, bro, let me just be me. Let me just figure out what I gotta do still. I don't need everybody in my ear. I don't, like, it's crazy how music like that, I don't know if it's these artists nowadays are gonna be capable. Are we gonna listen to my guy who the barbershop was showing me in 10 years? Like, I don't know if that's possible now.
hmm. Yeah, I do find that hard because I completely understand where you're coming from. And like, I don't know, I feel like we hold like um good experiences too, or like memorable experiences from like, old albums or past albums. And it's just like some of the stuff they put out now, it's like, I don't know. I don't think that like I'll have like a memory like, oh, like I remember, when this happened, like with some of them, like it doesn't just bring that memory up.
Definitely. I think that's what hip hop is, though. I think hip hop does, like, has like that good feel. I know it wasn't always positive what they were speaking about, but then it's like, yo, I feel my guy's going through right there, and I don't feel that anymore. I feel like everybody has different subject. Maybe the subject matter is a little different too. Um,
Mhm.
how do you feel like writing your articles? What's your selection like? Okay, this is what I want to talk about when a story catches your eye. What's the process of that?
I think like it depends. Like if I'm really interested in it and maybe if it's something that like I enjoy or like an artist that I enjoy that's what really catches my attention. Or if it's just something cool that's going on in like the music industry, like maybe a rapper is tapping into like helping the community. Like I really love stories like that, like them giving back or stuff like that. I just really like highlighting too, um, like I said, like just community stuff, like a lot of like people giving back or what someone is bringing for that community and stuff like that.
Positive.
Mhm.
I don't think positive gets sold a lot nowadays. I don't know if positive's the wave.
Exactly.
People love to hear, and we all love to hear negative shit. I'm on World Star all the time looking at some crazy shit. I'm
I'm
like,
not on that.
right? I think
Yeah.
it's great to hear the positive stuff. I think we need that. See, I think that's a lane that's always good. I think some people may think, oh, that doesn't get the looks, but I'm like, no, if you read what these people are doing behind the scenes without their selfie camera on, I think
Yeah.
things are being done. I think that's cool that you highlight stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand exactly what you mean. And especially like I feel like a lot of I guess I don't know if you would call them like journalism, but yeah, like a lot of like journalists do highlight like rumors, or they do highlight like, like drama going on in like somebody's life or some artist's life. And I'm like, like they do have their own lives, they're humans. They're like they're gonna go through stuff, like let them deal with that, on their own. And if they haven't said anything about it, then why bring it up? Like,
How do you feel about articles? And I read these articles all the time. Like they're a little bit more opinion based. Like, oh, Lil Uzi released a double album today, and I didn't feel it, so it must be whack. Like, how do you combat that? I don't think that's good journalism, right? Or is that me just like you're telling me how I should feel? Like, why don't you tell me how you feel? Then I could just dive into what you're saying and see if I feel the same thing. Because opinions are okay to have, right?
yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, yeah. And
Mhm.
I feel like the opinion pieces are like where a lot of journalists get backlash on it. And it's just like that's why I can't with those. Like I just personally like I don't think I can sit there and write an opinion and make you try to feel what I'm feeling. Like, it's completely different than a review. Review, you're giving like the facts and stuff like on what you hear, but like what you don't like. And with the opinion, it's just like, I don't know, to me, it's not something that I like and I won't write about.
Yeah, it's definitely a turnoff. And you see, like, that's why I stopped reading Complex. Complex does that so much. It's a prestigious publishing website, and people look to this stuff for the culture, what's going on now. And
Yeah.
representation is not now. Like, dude, that's not right. Like let's say, okay, Currency's new album, this is a real jazzy album. It's this the vibes, but no, it's different. It sounds like his last one, so it must be whack. He must have haven't had any good ideas. Like,
Yeah.
bro. Like you have to be. Think you have to write in like a half full point of view. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I feel like sometimes they get to like I don't know if it's the people who they may like hire there or something like that, but yeah, I do come across some articles where I'm just like, that's not exactly like what I got out of it. Like, what are you like, And so I think it's just different opinions and
Mhm.
different journalists trying to like tap in and get different angles because that's really what they try to do as well, so they can get a story. Like they have to pitch different angles and have different views on it, I guess, and maybe that's what it is, but
Is that something you enjoy doing too? Just having different, I guess, different outlooks on situations that are going on in the game right now, or just what's going on in the community right now?
yeah, definitely. I think that it's needed, to have a different view or to have like to be open-minded with things and to try to see it from like a different perspective. Um, yeah, I think that if we kind of had the same, it would just be like repetitive. And so, yeah, it is definitely needed.
Yeah. I guess we go mainstream real fast. The Grammys. Did you have a pick at all who was gonna win? Did you pick Nas?
I mean, I don't even know what to think about the Grammys anymore. Like, yeah, I mean, I had hope that yeah, like Nas or like I don't even know what category was that one in. I
That,
forget.
that was his best rap album of the year. I know there's a lot of controversy because I think we had Jay Electronica, Gibbs, Nas. I forgot who else was on there to be honest with you, but
There was a lot of good ones,
I
huh?
still respect the Grammys though. Like that's still how I judge my. I was like, okay, they got album of the year. Yeah, it's just kind of even when Macklemore beat Kendrick, I was like, he had a good album. Like you can't be mad at it.
No, I can't. I'm just like, who, like, why? And even till this day, I'm just like, no, like Macklemore. No, I think the Grammys, like, it has like its hit and misses, with things, but I feel like some years people think that they favor, specific like backgrounds or, like genders or something like that, but I don't think that they can ever please everybody just because everyone has their own opinion. So whoever's on the like committee is definitely gonna have a different opinion than like you and I. Whoever they thought like, should win is different from like who I feel or you feel. So I don't know. I just it's really hard and I mean, I don't think that they're gonna be able to please everyone. So
Definitely can. I need to remember. I know everybody's not a big hip hop head like us, but I'm like, I love Nas, dude, and I'm a hater. I'm a Nas hater, but I'm like,
are you really?
he had the best album. Oh yeah, I love Nas what he says, but sometimes the way he raps pisses me off.
Oh my God, like how?
I love his rhymes. What he said, he's an MC all the way, but his I think it's the beat selection too in the beginning. I used to like others like I think it was it's not Stillmatic. What I think it's I Am or It Was Written. It was
Uh-huh.
horrible, yo. And he has some horrible beats. I can't.
Yeah.
Everybody. I think Illmatic's a great album, but it's not better than Reasonable Doubt. It's not better than Ready to Die. And everybody puts Illmatic top 5. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see. And everything's on the big. I am a Nas hater, but I'm like, I just don't. I guess that's a crazy opinion.
Damn, I didn't know you were a Nas hater. I thought you like Nas.
No, I'm a Nas hater for sure.
Oh my god. No, I don't know. I definitely feel like Illmatic had a lot of like good songs or like maybe like most of his like well-known songs I guess are on there, and so that's why I enjoy that one just because a lot of them I grew up listening to or I just, enjoy it, I guess. I don't even think like I listened to like Reasonable Doubt, but I don't know. I just not really.
I think it has to be a different mind state too. I don't know. I think with the mind state, like a Reasonable Doubt's kind of like even right now I still listen to because we're grinding all day, and that just makes me want to grind harder. Like what he's saying about how we double shit up or how we're just going against all odds, like that shit resonates with me 25 years later.
Yeah, that's
I
dope.
love that stuff.
Yeah.
What's We could talk about life a little bit. What's going on with you right now? Like I think you're in LA for a while. What's going on there?
Yeah, so I did so after like I graduated and stuff, I did move out here. I did stay out here. And then I was out here for like a year, I think. And then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be gone like for 2 weeks. Like we had like 2 weeks off of work. Well, not off of work, I was working remotely.
Mhm.
And then yeah, and 2 weeks turned into a whole year in Bakersfield.
I know. I remember you telling me, "Oh, it's only gonna be for a few weeks." I'm like, okay, cool. We'll link up, and I'm like, "Oh, guess just the pandemic. You're one of many. Like the pandemic's super. It affected so many people in different ways. So yeah.
Heck yeah, yeah. And I was just like, like I wanted to stay close to family because I didn't know what was going on. Like we've never been in a pandemic before.
Yeah.
And so I was like, like let me just stay out here for a little bit. And I like gave it to like I think July maybe, or I don't even know what.
Mhm,
And then after that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay out here a little longer. And then a lot too had to do with like health reasons. Like so all like my health like I guess like my insurance and stuff like that, it's all in Bakersfield still. So
definitely.
I have to like keep going back and forth. And so at that point, I like a lot of stuff was going on. And I was just like, like I think that like it's best for me just to like stay here and just to figure it out. And then once I have everything situated, I'll, go back out there.
Definitely.
And thankfully, like my roommate, it's one of my roommates from that I've been really close to since like Dominguez. And thankfully his family was like I stay, here with them.
Mhm.
And thankfully they're like, like that's fine. Like whenever like you want to come back, like, you can come back and your stuff is here and all that. And so yeah, I'm definitely blessed to have that. And but
Yeah.
yeah, so now it's been a year and I'm back.
I know the last year you enjoyed this Thea life, and isn't it crazy? Like,
Yes,
I s-
definitely.
I see your niece and nephew how big they are. I'm like, good lord, yo! Like, how did time fly so fast?
I know. They're like it's crazy because like even when I was out here like going to college and stuff, I would miss them, like I wasn't like as like I was close, but like FaceTime, like it doesn't really like it's not enough. And so I really enjoyed being back home and just seeing, like what they're into all over again and just enjoying like the little cuddles that we have or like, like we have a good like little bond and they're still like attached to me. And it's just like it's beautiful to like to have and to see. So I definitely did enjoy that.
I still can't believe I have 3 nephews and a niece. I'm like, and the bond. It's like we love each other. Like these are my guys. This is my girl. Like and I see we can relate to that too. It brings like pure joy. And sometimes when the world's shitty and things are just not going the way they need to go, it's like, huh, there's that pure joy right there. Come here, give you a hug. Like,
Exactly. They just know how like to turn everything around and just be like, dude, like you're just having a bad day. Like, here you go. Here's some smiles right here.
and even when we love our sisters too, so it's kind of cool to see them become mothers and I guess not be responsible, but just be an adult and just be responsible for these little ones now. And I'm sure seeing your mom as a grandparent is pretty cool. Like that's something I'm still getting used to. I get jealous all the time.
Do you really?
I'm bad jealous of my dad was never that huggy, dovey, lovey dovey type. And so I'm like, man, you guys got the good side of father. Like, what the hell, man? So But it's cool seeing that side of them, though. I think life is, crazy. The older we get to, I think we see how lucky we are. Because some, we have friends that didn't make it out here, or some friends who just don't got that grind and they settled, or they just want to do other shit. That's cool, but I think with us, we're here. We're not settling anytime soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's another thing I really wanted to get you on too. See, because I do want to thank you because I like the way I seen your first article at BC when you graduated from BC, yo, you gave me a shot to fucking DJ your party.
Oh, yes, of
And
course.
my ass came in with like three guys carrying a speaker pop, and here I come with this big ass amp with a fucking red yellow cord connected to my laptop with no DJ software at all.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude, I'm just fucking going off ear. I'm like, oh, this might sound cool. No idea what I was doing, yo. So
You made it happen though. You freaking and like the music I'm already into, so you kind of like mix that into what you liked and what's like good at a party.
that was
That's really
crazy.
dope.
I'll never forget that stuff. That was one of my first gigs, and I showed you love. Like, don't pay me. It's cool. Like, I was
Yeah.
just happy to get a shot. I was hungry for a fucking shot. Yo, I would charge $100 for 6 hours. I just needed a shot. You know what I mean? Because I think I knew I was capable of what's going on now, but I just needed it. You know how it is. We just need opportunities to show what our passions are. And I
Exactly.
really appreciate that, my friend. I'll never ever forget that. Like, you
Yeah.
really helped me out, yo. You gave me that just doing your, I know it was a backyard boogie and celebrating, your big accomplishment, but that gave me a lot of confidence, and I learned a lot that night. And it's been crazy what's going on now. And I appreciate you supporting what's going on now too. I know you got a shirt. I'm gonna give you that when you probably
Yes.
hope this weekend I'll swing by and do that.
Yes.
But I
I was hoping I would be in town so I could wear it today, but think
No, it's all good. Next time, because I definitely this isn't the only time I want you on. I think what I really want to do with this podcast is have like how I say this reoccurring guests, but it's kind of like you're familiar with who's coming on. We've had them before. Just want something that for the people could be familiar. Like this is where we started at. We kind of got your background. Now we can just jump from the next one. What's the latest, greatest? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I think it'll work out. See, I think it's gonna go well. And I'm rooting for you all the way, my friend, all the way.
You as well, you as well. You're doing big things. You're, with the DJ, with the podcast, you're getting a whole bunch of people on here, making a difference too and spreading like, the word for different things. And that's great, That's what Bakersfield needs, that's what the community needs, and you're doing it.
Being versatile, just like you're being versatile with your work. You're doing things for the community. Talking about, you know, you're having black businesses in the mall, talking about Puffy and his or Jay-Z and his deals, talking album reviews. I don't know. Was your magazine doing like a live interview today, or what was going on with that?
We're creating the escape
I
or
think
which
was it who's doing the live interviews? One of your publications you work for. Is it Creating the Escape?
well, I think I don't know.
Yours. We can talk about that real fast too. Um,
Yeah, well, creating the escape, that's my personal one. So that's one that I'm just gonna take off and trying to do like more like local interviews with like artists or designers and photographers and stuff like that. Just kind of tap into like the creative world and kind of just just bring out what they're bringing to the art communities and kind of highlighting them so they get their support as well. And but yeah, so that's actually tomorrow. I do have to go live today actually to figure out all like the stuff and all that because I haven't been live in a while, and so I need to work that out.
It'll be good. It's only 60 minutes. Don't forget.
Oh, okay.
Only 60 minutes and they cut your ass off. So just be aware.
Okay, shoot, now I know.
What's homeboy's name again? I'm sorry. The one you're doing tomorrow?
Skip Skylark.
Skip.
Yeah,
That's my guy, yo. Tell me what's
Skip
up.
Skylark. Did I say that? I don't even know.
Skylark. Yeah. No, his boy is was my sister's brother-in-law's best friend, so I know him pretty. I see him around the town sometimes. So I'm glad you're doing that, though. See, I think and any way I can help you, of course, too. Like any artist that you want to get plugged in with, I told you that before. Like, let's do it, yo. Like whatever I can help create your brand. We need more circulation of the goods and the wealth here. I think everybody needs to start doing that. Some people are stingy with their resources. I don't ever want to be like that with my friends, especially my friends like you are trying to build something off what you love and is genuine. Like whatever I can help you with, see, I'll be more than happy to help you with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you as well. If I can, do anything journalistic or if I do anything with Korean Escape, let me know too.
I'm really looking forward to your interview tomorrow. That's every I think everyone, I'm sure you know, every interview is a stepping stone to the next one.
Yeah.
That's how it's hands on too, like even with this, I think my friend was telling me when I first had people on, I was kind of sketchy. I was like, like, no, it's organic. I think the less we plan, the better. I'm not saying you should do that to yours, but I think the less we plan, it's like, yo, we just fucking wait the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly. It just flows a lot better like that. Like you don't have to like worry about like, what you have to ask next or, what's this and that. Just kind of, just go with it and just like let it flow like organically.
So with creating the escape, is that one of your goals? Like in the next couple of years, is to build that up and kind of get that to be your main priority?
Yeah, honestly, it is. It's been, I kind of just want to figure out how I can, work for myself in a way. Like it's always been a dream for me to like work for like these big publications and I really hope that I do get to that.
Hmm.
But I do want to just be able to like have my own thing going, be able to do what I want to do. Like if I want to interview this person, like I'm going to interview this person, and I kind of just want to bring that to Bakersfield and even like to LA too, because I kind of interview both, but mainly like to Bakersfield, because we don't really have that out there. And I do want to make that, I do want to blow up with that, honestly. Like I do want that to get bigger and just, for mainly like, artists and the people around. That's what I want to do. Yeah.
I think you could, and I know you could do it. I think we just, as long as, and I'm sure you've seen the shirt. I think you just got to execute, have some consistency, perseverance, and some luck. And I think you could do it. That would be my advice. Like
Yeah.
you can't, you got to be consistent with it. This isn't, and I'm sure you do this every week. I think that people watching, being consistent is going to change the fucking game for you. Like no matter what, there's some days I don't want to do a pod. There's some days I don't want to DJ. There's some days I don't want to go coach. But just being consistent, just making the best of it, I think you could do it. See, and I know you will. You got the passion. That's another thing we relate. Your writing is just the way I care about fucking music and this podcasting. It's cool to talk to people like you and you understand what it's gonna take. Um,
Yeah, I completely agree. Just to like to speak with somebody and just to be around, to have them in your like circle and just know that like you can, like I can hit you up and be like, hey, like what do you think about this? Or, I think that's, it's definitely needed and to build that like connection with others too.
Yeah, we got to keep the circle, going. It has to just be this nonstop giving. That's all karma, and I think that's all luck eventually. So,
Yeah.
like I said, though, my friend, if you ever need anything, just want to connect, or just somebody I know, hey, can you give me? I'll plug you in anytime. I don't. I would love to do that, and I would love to see what you guys come up with. I think, especially podcasting, I think it's not rap. We should show love to everybody who's podcasting or trying to build a platform because there's so many there's enough eyes and ears for everybody. I got love for every podcast. I don't listen to all of them. I can't. I don't have the time. But
Yeah.
yo, do your thing, my guy. I want you to do it. If you're taking some ideas, you want some sponsors, that's why I do it. Just take my idea. If you're better than me, cool. I want to learn from you. That's just the way it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And you kind of have to be like that,
We
it's
can't.
not like you shouldn't be greedy with it, and I feel like there, like you said, there are, there's enough room for everyone to grow and everyone to eat. So
Definitely. And and on everything's on these damn phones now, you know what I mean? Everything's on these phones. So I think what you're doing is perfect. There's an avenue for it. I've been learning that too about business. Is there an avenue for what you're doing? Then feed it. So you're feeding it though. See, I'm happy for you. I hope tomorrow goes well for you. Is that your first time doing it online or a live interview?
It'll be my second time. I did do one for True Urban Culture, back in last Easter actually. So it's crazy how things happen, but yeah, that's my only one that I've done. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm a little nervous, but
You're gonna do well. Just honestly, it's just gonna be like today. Just go into it, open mind. I'm sure you're gonna prep. That's what you do. I'm not a prepper at all. Horrible at prepping. So you're gonna do well though. I'm gonna be watching and I wanna be rooting for you. I hope you guys do well. You have a good artist that's up and coming, and there's a lot of them in the field right now. So I'm sure you're gonna be able to have you pick a litter for sure.
yeah, thank you, thank
And they
you.
all need that public, like just like we all need it. We all need someone to put us on their platform just to show the people we got because we all got you got different followers than I do. I'm sure people are gonna watch this podcast for the first time. And maybe they are like, hey, this motherfucker knows what he's talking about. Or hey, he made Carissa feel comfortable. And maybe let's see if his other guests felt like that. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share your platform with me too, though. See, I really do.
Course. No, and thank you for, just asking me to be on here. Like I think this is like the only time I actually really been on this side to where it's like, I don't know. Not that I mean like not like it's an interview or anything, but just
Oh,
like,
definitely. You're
yeah.
answering the questions that I'm answering. It's like the roles have reversed.
Yeah.
It's cool, and I've been bugging you forever. You know that. I just think, but it's executed. It's finally saying, "Yo, this is the date we're gonna do with it. We're gonna fucking stick to it, and we're staying on, yo." Like,
I
and
know.
just, I think it's just coming up with ideas too. Like even the football coaches, that wasn't part of the plan at all.
Oh wow.
That's the good thing about podcasts. You can do what the fuck you want. I'm like, oh.
That's true. And especially when it's yours, you get to be like, well, I want to talk to this person, so let's get you on.
And there's no like, I was telling myself, okay, why can't I just have the coaches on? Why does it need to be an hour conversation? It could
Yeah.
be 20 minutes about what they're going through. There's COVID season throughout the week, and just put as an episode. And whoever listens, and we'll keep it pushing. It doesn't have to be. There's no rules to this shit,
Yeah.
and that's I think something with creating the escape. See, there's no rules to what you're doing, yo. Make
Mhm.
it your own, Carissa. Seriously, make it your own, and people love that shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I try to keep telling myself. Like, I like in the beginning, I was like overthinking it, and then I was like, you know what, whatever. Like, I want to do it, and I'm just gonna do it, and whatever happens, it happens. And
Mm,
if something fails, I just learn from it, and do better the next time. But
definitely.
yeah, so then I just started, figuring stuff out by myself, and I'm like managing it by myself. I'm, doing everything. So I'm really learning the different aspects and stuff like that, and it's time consuming, but I'm enjoying it. So
Dude, doing everything yourself is a fucking hassle.
it is.
It's so hard. Like I've been going through it. Like this with scheduling and cutting. Now we're doing. That's why I was hoping to come in here because we have I wanted to get the live podcast next time for sure. But
Yes, next time. But we will plan it to where I'm actually in town. So
yeah,
that way it works
definitely.
out.
Just trying to set up cameras, and no one's ever taught us that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right? Yeah.
so it's crazy. Like you said, doing everything on your own. It's a beautiful feeling though. See, once you start getting the success that you want, and just I like to keep low expectations. So I'm like, oh, it exceeded that. Cool. We must have done something right. Um,
Yeah.
but like you said too, every time something fails, it doesn't have to be a loss. It's a lesson. And if you ever, like again, like if you ever need anything or pep talk, I'll try to help you as much as I can. I try to with all my friends who want to venture to their own things. We just got to learn how to keep it pushing on to the next one. For
Hmm.
sure.
I feel like you definitely like motivate me though. Like you show the support and all that stuff, and like you'll hit me like randomly like, hey, like good job and stuff like that, or
Mm,
this and that, just like showing love. And like that definitely motivates me. And obviously too, like with your podcast and the other things you got going on, definitely motivated me to get back to with creating the escape. And
mm.
just to try to like push that out, and to continue it and do stuff like that. So
And I think what you've done too, you not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, but you have your craft where you want, where it needs to be to do what you're doing now. And
yeah,
you couldn't have done that 2 years ago. I don't think, maybe you weren't ready, but now 2 years later, you're starting to see, okay, I gotta do this. Maybe you are ready now, and that's a beauty too. It takes time. I never wanted to do video podcasts. Like, who gives a fuck? Why do people want to see me? But no, it's necessary, and I wasn't ready 2 years ago. I was like, let's do audio. So I think you're ready now. See, it's timing. Timing is a crazy, crazy thing in life.
right. Yeah, and yeah, you mentioned like about, well, like with me, it was like writing. Like I just wanted to write articles on these people that I
Mhm.
was interviewing, but it's like it only reaches a certain amount of people, like you're not like not a lot of people are into like reading stuff, so they're not going to be like, yeah, like let me go read this article. Like unless you know the person, and unless like
Yeah.
that's what you want to learn about, then yeah. But I feel like videos and lives and interaction with other people, like people love that, and it's more like I feel like that's needed. And back then, I was not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I was too shy, and now I'm just kind of like, okay, like I'm ready to like expand like my skills and like things like that. So,
You know what it takes to get where you want to be,
hmm,
right? Like, and I feel that 100%. There's some things I like still like, I don't know, but this is what I want to do, and this is what you asked for. Like, so I believe in you, though. So I think you do well. At least you're aware, and again, you're trying, you're throwing it out the wall. If it sticks, it sticks. We're gonna learn from it, And another thing too, we can't be content.
Yeah.
Content's a fucking disease, yo. Like, oh, I'm comfortable. It's cool. I'll release one pod a week. Nah,
Exactly.
like you just gotta keep doing it, yo. You keep grinding. You're gonna learn every time you do this. You'll learn something for sure. I'm sure you know every article, every interview you've done. So you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And every time, like you said, I hit everything I see. It's like it's on my mind. I gotta hit the person like, yo, I like that. I was feeling that because I know how, especially creators, we love that feedback. That's what we do it for, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How important is feedback to you? Is that like that's the thing you're like, oh, I can't wait till people think about this.
I mean, yes and no. I think that like a lot of the stuff I kind of just do it because I'm into it, you know. But I do want people to actually acknowledge it. Like I would love if people like, read it or just skim through it. All you gotta do is just skim through my articles and like you pick something out from that, wonderful, you know. I think the bigger pieces is what I'm more like like I write a lot, you know. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I hope somebody actually reads this because I put a lot of effort into it, you know. And yeah, so it's definitely like I do care, but then sometimes I'm like, okay, like not everybody is going to, you know. So
And I think you have to have that mindset. It's on to the next one, right?
yeah, definitely.
It's
Hmm.
it's an exhausting mentality, though, man.
Yeah.
It's so exhausting. I'm like that all the time. That's how it is with every gig. On to the next one. Like, damn, I just killed this shit though. Like, can we
And
talk 30?
you just want to like enjoy it for just like a little bit, and it's like no, like you got to get right back to work. Like
It's like, fuck, I could do perfect. My you gotta do better next time because the next crowd is never gonna hear the set. Like that's my biggest like. I had a good set. The person next week's never. People next week ain't gonna hear that shit. So you gotta do all over again. It's pressure a little bit, but you'll be. I think again, I'm really looking forward to what you have going on tomorrow with Skip. I think it's his name. Is that Skip? Sorry, my guy. Sorry, you have so many rappers in our heads. I forget, bro.
I know I have like it's like tongue tied.
You'll be fine tomorrow. And I'll be watching, and I'm sure everybody's gonna watch this podcast. And I really appreciate you coming on. See, is there anything any shout outs you want to give? Your Twitter information, your social media information, where they can find your work.
Yeah, so if you guys want to find my work or my Instagram, it's at Carissa Andrea. My Twitter is at underscore Cdrea.
Mhm.
And I mainly just post like my articles on my Instagram. There's like a link in my bio if you want to read anything. Creating Escape is at Creating Escape. Yeah, I'll be doing live interviews almost every week and we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
You ever need your boy on too? Give me a while. Let me just build up what I got some moves going on. Get me on there, yo. I'll be
Yes,
more than
I
happy.
already thought about it. I like wrote down a list of who I want and you're on there.
Anytime, yo. Anytime. I'll be more than happy just to come through and give you the love that you gave me, and I really appreciate being on episode 76. I think we released Saturday, so whenever people watching, we're gonna get it knocked out. I'm a little behind on pods, but more content. You know how it is. Content is everything. So I think this is great, though. I think we did. I think we killed it. See,
Yeah,
appreciate being on, yo.
thank you for having me. I really appreciate you as well.
From Carissa Diaz, we have episode 76 of the S.T.S Podcast, and we out.